They say that some things never die, and that is true to an extent, but usually it's talking about things like the spirit of a legend, or the will to keep going, and things like that. However, when it comes to rivalries and feuds, yes, they are different things. The hatred from them and animosity that grows from them can get to such a level that it's almost impossible to let go. This goes double in the rap game, where feuds go to an insane level sometimes and can restart at any moment, which was proven when the game decided to call out 50 Cent recently. We'll break it down for you, but before we do that, go ahead and do us a favor by leaving a like on the video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the bell icon so you never miss an upload from us. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video. The concert call out. The game and 50 Cent may be in their 40s now, but that hasn't stopped the two legendary lyricists from beefing as though they're still in their teens. Over the weekend, things heated up between the duo on social media once again, after the power producer took home an Emmy for his work alongside Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar at last year's Super Bowl halftime show. But the West Coast rapper took things further afterward, publicly dissing 50 Cent in front of a crowd. While he was performing at Houston's Legends Only concert on Sunday night, September 4th, Jayceon Terrell Taylor took a moment to let the audience know that he's still done with 50 Cent. Yep. The 42-year-old continued, "I'ma say it in Houston, I'll say it in New York, I'll say it anywhere." He even noted that the next time he and 50 Cent were in a room, hands were gonna be thrown, and he didn't care what the result would be. Despite all the hate though, the game made it known that he doesn't hate everything his nemesis does. "And I like his TV shows, put that on the internet," he exclaimed to the crowd looking up at him. As you may remember, the How We Do collaborators exchanged salty words as 50 was celebrating his big win. After the Drillmatic artist threw shade his way, the New Yorker responded with, "Oh no, I'm sorry you didn't get one trophy emoji." Then the first week, 18K, "If you need someone to talk to, I'm here for you, LOL." From the looks of At the Shade Room's comment section, many fans are kind of tired of seeing two grown men act this way. "Leave 50 alone so he can focus on the next season of Force and Power," one user wrote. "This is the longest beef in the history of rap beef. Sheesh, I'm over it." And "The game can't go 3 business days without calling out a rapper," others added. You know, it's pretty sad when it's the fans who are calling out a beef for going on too long and making it clear that they don't want to see any more of it. Now, if this was just light joshing, no one would really care, but we know that these two are more than happy to go at one another at a moment's notice, and over things big and small. Earlier this month, 50 Cent called out the game for claiming he wrote What Up Gangsta, the opening track on 50 Cent's 2003 debut album Get Rich or Die Trying. The game said he wrote What Up Gangsta. I'm like, come on bro, you wasn't even around when we did that, 50 said on The Breakfast Club. That was before you even came into the picture, 50 said. We didn't even know who he was until after. There's a point where you reach desperation and you'll say anything. Clear. And this is indicative of the entire feud in and of itself, which we'll happily tell you about. The history of the feud. The game was placed in G-Unit by Dr. Dre as a way to boost his presence ahead of the release of his debut album, The Documentary, which had 3 singles featuring 50 Cent on it. The release date of 50 Cent's second album, The Massacre, was pushed back in order to accommodate the game's debut album. The move caused a rift between 50 Cent and Dre and Jimmy Levine of Interscope Records, and Jimmy Iovine of Interscope Records, and tensions between 50 and the game began. Tensions had obviously risen by the time the game started shooting the video for his third single, Hate It or Love It, featuring 50 Cent. Word is that 50 Cent refused to sit in the front seat of the car next to the game, instead taking a back seat. Later in 2005, 50 Cent dismissed the game from G-Unit Live during a radio interview on US station Hot 97, saying he's gone. 50 said that the game should stop saying G-Unit. He thinks he's doing me a favor when he says that. After hearing 50's comments, the game returned to the radio station, where he was also a guest earlier that day, and attempted to enter the building. In the scuffle, one of the men accompanying the game was shot in the leg by a security guard. 50 and the rest of G-Unit left out the back door. Both sides made a formal announcement in March 2005 that noted they would be laying their beef to rest. 50 and I are proving that real situations and real problems can be solved with real talk, Game said in the statement. We know that this friendship was not going to last. The peace treaty didn't last that long at all, in fact. It wasn't long until G-Unit criticized the game's street cred and sent him packing once more, announcing he will not be featured on any of their albums. Things were escalating and they'd continue to do that. The feud continues. After being dismissed from G-Unit once again, the game boycotted the group in what became known as G-U-Not. He put out a diss track called 300 Bars and Runnin', and 50 Cent responded by showing Game as a Mr. Potato Head doll in the video of his Piggy Bank song. In September 2006, Game must have been feeling bad about his attacks on 50 Cent, as when he paid Angie Martinez a visit, he said on air that he wanted to talk and just see where our heads are and see if maybe we can come to an even playing field, respectfully to each other, appealing to 50 to work together to figure it out as grown-ups. It was all quiet on 50's end. Jimmy always says, "Man, I told you guys not to break up the Beatles." Game said in an interview with MTV. He said he told John Lennon the same thing a long time ago. "But I was young, man. I was dumb. I did a lot of dumb things." Now, 4 albums in, I can honestly say, from Banks to Bucks to Dre to Yayo to whoever, if it would have kept going, endless paper, millions of albums sold, because we were great together. Me and 50's chemistry was like how Method Man was to Redman when they get in. A few days later, in January 2009, Tony Yayo spoke on behalf of G-Unit when he said that they would not be accepting any apology from the Game. One day, the Game is sorry, and the next day it's G-Unit. A week later, it was reported that the Game dissed G-Unit again at his concert in Sydney, Australia. In November that year, 50 included the track So Disrespectful on his Before I Self-Destruct album. He was less than subtle on who it was about, with lyrics including, "Come on Game, you will never be my equal. I'm what you're never gonna be. I'm the tax bracket you never gonna see." 50 Cent and the Game have put so much focus on their hate for each other over the years that including radio freestyles and songs that appeared on albums and mixtapes, there are over 100 diss records aimed at each other, keeping it going. When 50 released a collaboration with Eminem and Adam Levine in 2012, he rapped, "Game and Buck can both suck," but it soon came out that the song was actually recorded 2 years prior, and 50 claimed he had no ill wills towards Game. Nevertheless, Game responded with another diss track. Strangely, Game instigated a petition in January 2013 for G-Unit to have a reunion. He got loads of fans to sign it, but it was all for nothing. Every time there was nothing going on, Game said, "You 50," to generate some sort of new interest. 50 explained during an interview with Power 106, but now that doesn't work anymore, so you gotta figure out a new way to do it. And now it's saying, "We'll get G-Unit back together." Game released the mixtape OKE, Operation Kill Everything, in October 2013. In the song Hollywood, Game spat the line, "Reunite with G-Unit, F50." Eventually, and after cooler heads finally prevailed, the two were able to work something out, to the extent that even the Game noted that his beef was done, and their feud was over a decade old, and that they should move on. And they could have, had he not made another mistake, feuding with Slim Shady. You see, this isn't just about the Game going after 50 Cent again. He's also been talking smack about one of 50 Cent's best friends, Eminem, in recent months. On the Drink Champs podcast, Game talked about how he wasn't a fan of Eminem busting out of the courthouse building during his Super Bowl performance alongside Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, and 50 Cent. He then added that he feels he's a better rapper than Eminem, even though he used to think otherwise. "I like Eminem. He's one of the good MCs, great MCs," Game said. "I used to think Eminem was better than me," he admitted. Game was then asked how he feels now, to which he replied, he's not, challenge it." NORE then told Game he doesn't want to go verses against Eminem, but Game disagreed. "Yeah, I do," he confidently stated. Naturally, a lot of people had something to say about that, but the Game held his ground. "When y'all say Eminem is better and all that, I see it, I feel you," he said. "And you know what? If you feel like Eminem is better than me, that's your opinion, but it's a lot of people that feel like I'm better than Eminem, and that's their opinion. Me personally, is Eminem better than me? Nah, he not, bro." He went on to explain that if anyone has doubts about his own talent, Eminem could hop in the studio and figure it out on wax. "I think that's the best way to see if he is or if I am. Let's rap about it," he continued. "Let's do something, let's put something out, let's see, cause that's what it is, bro. It's rap, mind your words." So where does this leave us now? Well, Game and 50 Cent are going at it again. It could go on for a while or it might not. But even if it does stop for now, the problem is that we can all but bet that it's going to keep going later on. These two just can't seem to keep each other's names out of each other's mouths, and that's honestly helping no one. But until they figure it out, we're gonna be hearing more and more disses from one onto the other and vice versa. And there you have it, everyone, a look at the feud between 50 Cent and the Game and how things are starting to pick up once again. Do you think these two will still go forward with this feud, or will cooler heads prevail and they'll go their separate ways? What do you think will happen next either way? Let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.